Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. We are going to be diving right into a truly fascinating shift that's happening right now in Southeast Asia's tech landscape. For years, the narrative around tech in this region has heavily focused on the usual established hubs. But completely under the radar, this quiet, highly capable builder scene is emerging in a place most people strictly associate with vacations. Yep, we're talking about Thailand. And today, we're unpacking how it's rapidly transforming into a really serious center for product development and startup innovation. Look, if you ask 10 people what comes to mind when you say working in Thailand, I guarantee 9 of them will describe the myth on the left. You know the one. Beautiful beaches, incredible street food, and digital nomads casually answering emails from a coffee shop in Chiang Mai. But the reality on the right is entirely different. We are currently seeing a massive influx of hardcore developers, highly focused founders, and teams that are aggressively shipping fully functional products. The whole vibe is shifting away from leisure straight into pure execution. Section 1. More than just a holiday destination. So, what we've seen super clearly over the past year or so is that technical talent, and we're specifically talking about developers and AI builders here, they aren't just visiting Bangkok for a weekend tech conference and then flying out. No, they're officially relocating. They're signing long-term leases, setting up their multi-monitor workstations, and actually choosing to lay down roots to build real, scalable infrastructure. And a very noticeable chunk of these technical teams are specifically choosing to build their foundation on the Solana network. We're going to get into exactly why that is in just a minute, but first, let's actually look at the evidence. Section 2, tangible proof, live products. Because hey, talk is cheap, right? Let's move past the theory and see what's actually happening on the ground. We really need to see live products to grasp the momentum here. So let's walk through 3 specific startups, all built by teams based right in Thailand. First up, you have OnlyFriend. This is not just a concept. It's a tool that literally lets any Telegram or Discord group transform into a full trading platform in about 5 seconds, and local communities are actively using it. Then there's PortFi. That's a non-custodial marketplace where users can actually create and access baskets of crypto, tokenized stocks, and yield-bearing assets. And finally, Nexusol, which provides builders with this super clean, unified terminal for market data, news, and project discovery. These are serious heavy-hitting utility platforms. And that brings us to the absolutely crucial point of all this. We are not looking at highly polished pitch decks designed just to extract venture capital. We aren't looking at fragile concept demos duct taped together for a weekend hackathon. These are live, fully functional products with real, daily users. These founders intentionally chose to base themselves in Thailand so they could just put their heads down and ship actual, working code. It's kind of the ultimate anti-hype environment, right? It's literally all about execution. Section 3, why Solana makes perfect sense. Which naturally leads us to a big question about their tech stack. Why are so many of these serious builders choosing Solana? Well, I absolutely love this quote from our source material because it just strips away all that usual tribalism you find in the tech and crypto space. Quote, "The choice wasn't ideological, it was practical. These founders, they're not trying to sell you on a particular blockchain philosophy. They're just pragmatic engineers looking for the best possible tool for the job." So let's look at the 2 defining practicalities driving this choice. First off, we have to talk about the cost. A fraction of a cent. When you're out there building a consumer application, or maybe a decentralized payment rail, or a high-frequency trading interface, your transaction fees are quite literally the difference between life and death for your startup. If it costs a fraction of a cent to execute a smart contract, suddenly entirely new categories of products become economically viable. You simply cannot build a microtransaction consumer app on infrastructure that charges you $1 every time a user clicks a button. It just doesn't work. And immediately right there alongside cost is speed. Under 1 second. For a product to actually succeed today, especially in Southeast Asia, where consumers are incredibly used to highly optimized mobile apps like Grab or Gojek, it needs to feel instant. Users do not want to stare at a loading screen that says, "Please wait for network confirmation." Instant settlement times are absolutely critical for user retention. People want that totally seamless experience of a traditional web application, but paired with all the back-end benefits of a blockchain. And this brilliant combination of near-zero fees and instant speed? Section 4, the arbitrage advantage for founders. Okay, so we know the tech they're using, but why are they using it here? It really all comes down to the arbitrage advantage for founders. The source introduces this fantastic concept, calling it founder arbitrage. Think of it like a massive strategic superpower. It's the act of leveraging significantly lower living and building costs, taking advantage of specialized government visas, and tapping into a rapidly growing local talent pool. When you compare all that to bootstrapping a company in incredibly expensive, highly saturated tech hubs like Singapore or Silicon Valley, the financial runway you get in Thailand is just exponential.
Let's break down the specific elements fueling this arbitrage because it's super interesting. First, building your startup in Thailand costs a mere fraction of what it costs in the West or Singapore, which obviously extends a startup's lifeblood, its runway. Second, the government recently introduced the Destination Thailand Visa, or DTV, which is practically tailor-made for tech founders who want to stay legally and build long-term without any visa anxiety. And finally, you have this amazing compounding community effect. Organizations like Super Team Thailand are actively running technical workshops, co-working sessions, and hackathons all the time. This creates a density of really high-level conversations that accelerates both learning and hiring. It's becoming a complete self-sustaining ecosystem.
Section 5, Untapped Opportunities. So the foundation is completely set. The talent is there, the runway is long, and the tech is incredibly fast. Now let's look at the horizon, the massive, wide-open sectors in the region. Our sources make a truly fantastic point here. The best products for Southeast Asia shouldn't just be adapted, copy-pasted Western tools. They really need to be built locally, for local problems. Just look at these. Regional remittance infrastructure. Moving money across borders in Southeast Asia is still way too slow and expensive. Then you have localized tools designed specifically for the unique nuances of SEA users. What about AI agents that can actually hold and move value autonomously on low-fee networks? And of course, the absolute holy grail, consumer apps that don't actually feel like clunky crypto products at all. They just feel like great, seamless, everyday applications. Guys, these are literal billion-dollar problems just waiting to be solved. But here is the reality check we all need. The ecosystem in Thailand is still early. But you know what? That is exactly the point. For developers and founders watching this explainer, this represents a very narrow window of opportunity. Right now, building is still cheap, the community is still intimate enough that you can actually reach the key players easily, and as we've seen, the infrastructure is completely production ready. But windows like this, they definitely don't stay open forever. Which brings us to our final thought for today. Thailand has quietly, but firmly, evolved from just a place you visit for a holiday to a place where serious technical foundations are being laid right now. The ecosystem is still early, the practical tools are there, and the market is wide open. So the real question you have to ask yourself is, are you just going to sit back and watch this new hub emerge from the sidelines, or are you going to join in and start building? Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive today, and I'll catch you all next time.